Hi, I'm Chrane. Diablo is probably one of my favorite gaming franchises ever, and in honor of that, I decided to summarize the story up to Diablo 3 into 4 different videos. The first one will explain what happened before Diablo 1, and then I will cover the story of the games in one video per game. Let's get into it. The first being in the world, called Anu, split into two to rid itself of all of its darkness. The darkness became a 7-headed creature called Tathamet. For eons, Tathamet and Anu battled until both of them had unleashed all of their power. This resulted in both of their deaths. The remains of Tathamet's body became the foundation of the burning hells, and each of the heads became a greater demon. The 3 dominant heads became the prime evils: Diablo, the Lord of Terror, Mephisto, the Lord of Hatred, and Baal, Lord of Destruction. While the remaining 4 became the lesser evils: Andariel, Maiden of Anguish, Duriel, Lord of Pain, Asmodan, Lord of Sin, and Belial, the Lord of Lies. The prime evils instantly established themselves as the rulers of Hell, with Mephisto ultimately being the leader of the 3. But what happened to the remains of Anu's body? It became the foundation of the High Heavens and the Anger's Council. The Anger's Council consisted of Imperius, the Archangel of Valor, Tyrael, the Archangel of Justice, Auriel, the Archangel of Hope, Itheriel, the Archangel of Fate, and finally Malthael, the Archangel of Wisdom, their leader. Besides this, most of the history of the High Heavens is unknown as of the end of Diablo 2, so we'll save that for the Diablo 3 video. However, the existence of both heaven and hell resulted in a conflict called the Eternal Conflict. The conflict took place because the existence of the World Stone. The World Stone, or Eye of Anu, originally existed in and powered the realm of Pandemonium, a pocket dimension which links together all worlds. Of course, this made it a very sought-after item for both angels and demons, for it was said that if they controlled the World Stone, they could create different forms of life and worlds without restrictions. Tyrael eventually ordered to build a bastion around the stone, which became known as the Pandemonium Fortress. The conflict had groups on both sides tiring of the battle. The angel Inarius and the demoness Lilith led the renegades on their sides of the conflict. Inarius somehow got into the Pandemonium Fortress and used the World Stone and changed its frequency, or dimensional alignment, therefore moving it. This made it impossible for the High Heavens and the Burning Hells to see into this pocket dimension, and as a result, Inarius and his followers created a world around it. This world is known by the name of Sanctuary. Inarius raised Mount Ariet around the stone as a protective shell. Sanctuary became the home of the renegade angels and demons. Inarius later tied the energies of the World Stone to himself, enhancing his power greatly. This, however, was unknown to the rest of the renegades. This made him the most powerful being in Sanctuary and therefore the de facto leader. Inarius and Lilith created the first children between demon and angel, which became known under the name Nephilim. The World Stone also held the powers of the Nephilim, a being with both angel and demon blood in their veins. However, over time, the Nephilim grew weaker, and ultimately became what we know as regular humans. The Anger's Council and Mephisto came to an agreement that Sanctuary and humanity should be allowed to exist. When the lesser evils found out that the prime evils had kept the existence of humanity a secret, they started to question if they really could trust their brothers. This started a civil war in the Burning Hells between those loyal to the prime evils and those loyal to the lesser evils, led by Asmodan and Belial. The prime evils ultimately lost the battle, and were banished into the mortal realm of Sanctuary. The whole point of having them banished was to shift the focus of the High Heavens, giving the Burning Hells the perfect time to strike once again. This whole civil war in the Burning Hells came to be known as the Dark Exile. What the lesser evils did not know was that the exile had been masterminded by the prime evils themselves. The fallen angel Izual told them of the soul stones created by Tyrael and how they could be corrupted. Izual was also Tyrael's most trusted lieutenant. before he left to join the forces of the Burning Hells. The point of corrupting the Soul Stones was that through them, they could corrupt the World Stone, and through that, corrupt humanity as a whole. When they started wandering the mortal realm, they got captured by the Horadrim, led by Tal Rasha, also part of their plan. Other notable Horadrim members were Zoltan Kuhl, who carried the Soul Stones, and Jared Kane, Tal Rasha's successor. According to their plan, Mephisto was going to corrupt the Zakarum, a religious order and followers of the light. Baal shattered his Soul Stone, but the mage Tal Rasha sacrificed himself as the mortal host to contain Baal, locked himself inside a tomb under the sands. Diablo was the last one to be captured, and was buried in the catacombs of the Tristram Cathedral. And so starts the original Diablo. I bet most of you had no idea there was this much to the backstory of the Diablo franchise, although a lot of these points have been retconned and weren't originally in the setup for the first game. But the more you know. Thank you so much for watching the first part of my Diablo lore videos, and I'll see you next time.